What is up, everybody? Justin here. I am back. I almost did not do a video tonight, but very spur of the moment, I decided to go ahead and do one. I got a good little stack here. We are going to round out the L's and get into the M's in the CD collection. I'm going to try to do this a little quicker than the last several videos have been half an hour long, and it's like 11:15 at night, and I have to go to bed. So, but I've been up here in my room doing other music stuff, and I said, hey, I want to do a video. So, first, we are listening to Rotting Kingdom. Rotting Kingdom is a doom band from Lexington, Kentucky. Two of the guys in the band are behind the Blood of the Wolf Festival, which was this past weekend. I was thinking of it. I thought of this tape. I said, oh, I want to throw that on. Really killer kind of death doom. Old Paradise Lost, My Dying Bride. That kind of vein. It's fucking solid. This is their demo. It's just 4 songs, self-titled, came out year before last year. There's also a 12-inch version that I want to grab whenever I see it. Boris Records here in Atlanta put it out, and they just announced their full length is ready, and I can't wait to get it. But Chuck and Anton and Brandon, the guys in the band, they're fucking awesome dudes. Support their fest, support their bands. That shit rules. So, into the CDs. First, we have Luger with Kill, Worship, Die. Luger is a project from Adrian, Lord Genocide, from Vociferian. Vociferian's a long-running black metal project from Belgium. We will get to Vociferian when I get to the V's. But Luger is this really nasty war metal, thing he did 10, 15 years ago. This came out in 2005, so almost 15 years old. Regimental Records put this out. I fucking love the cover art and logo for this fucking record. This is nasty, nasty, nasty war metal. It's hard to listen to. It really, really takes kind of a tenured ear for that kind of stuff. There's a non-cover on this of Total War that is just fucking killer. But I don't know, 10 years ago, I got in contact with Regimental because I wanted to release this on vinyl with my label at the time. And Regimental, they put me in contact with Adrian. We started talking, started working on it. Through that, I ended up releasing the newest Vociferian album on CD, and then the LP version of this never happened. 10 years later, me and Adrian are buddies. I've done lots of layout stuff for his bands. We chatted on Facebook a lot. I've been friends ever since. This ended up getting put out on vinyl by Von Frost Records out of Canada. So I'm glad it's out there. I have a copy of it. But I fucking love this. I'm not big. I think everybody goes through that war metal phase, and then you come back and fucking nothing's going to top Fallen Angel of Doom, and everything else is just a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. Luger's a little different. It's not quite. It's more Impaled Nazarene, but like a fucking bulldozer. So a little different. It's killer. But like I said, I'll link it below. It is nasty. So then we have Lubricated Goat with Forces You Don't Understand. I bought this for 25 cents in the cutout bin at a record store here in Atlanta. They had a bunch of boxes of CDs on the sidewalk in front of the store one day. This was a quarter. It was called Lubricated Goat. I had no idea what to expect, but it is like noise rock. Members of Cop Shoot Cop, Unsane. So those bands are vital to that kind of sound. I listened to this once and stuck it on the shelf. Not really my scene, my sound. I don't know anything about it. But if you like Steve Albini type stuff that he produces and his band Shellac, you might like Lubricated Goat. But then we have two from Lugabrum. We have Die Totem and Die Vet Kuchen. I have listened to these a couple of times. I remember my buddy Nathan writing about Lugabrum and Metal Maniacs a bunch, 10, 15 years ago. I got these through a trade one time. I remember liking these, but them never really clicking with me. I need to go back and get reacquainted with them. I just don't remember a lot of what they sounded like. Kind of weird, like left field black metal. I remember them tagging themselves brown metal, whatever that means. So then we have, moving right along here, we have 5 albums by Lutomissel. Lutomissel is a black metal band from Ukraine that plays really, really riffy, technical black metal. It's one guy. I got into Lutomissel way, way, way back when I had a black metal project and we put out a tape on Total Holocaust Records. Total Holocaust released M Quintessence around the same time. Total Holocaust. I picked it up and I really, really, really liked it. It had it was craftier riffs than like a Dark Throne, like Norsecore type band. But it still retained that nasty black metal atmosphere. And I slowly kept up with them over time. We have, if I remember correctly, M Quintessence came first. And then we have Catharsis. And we have Decadence, which is an EP. Then somewhere along the line, this is a self-titled record, came out, and it has really killer artwork and layout by Metastasis, a designer I really, really like. If you were into bands like Metastasis did the Ritual record by Black Dahlia Murder, lots and lots of stuff. But this record is where they really, really upped the riffiness. I've always kind of, Lutomissel is almost like a black metal version of Necrophagist, if that makes any sense. Then came Overcoming Babel. This one is in this really nice like digibook fold out thing, booklet inside. Nihil Ward put this out, and Wart Records, my buddy Kenny, put out the tape version of this in a really nice cassette version. And more just super technical, weirdo, anti-religious black metal, with that nasty Ukrainian barked vocal that I like. There's a new record past this one I don't have yet. My buddy Andre linked me to it recently. I need to hop on it. So, I love Lutomissel. I have a bunch of the cassette tapes too. So, next, opposite end of the spectrum here, my boys Leonard Skinner. Every Southern man like myself has this shit in his DNA. I feel like I knew the lyrics to Freebird before I could fucking read and write. I grew up with Leonard Skinner. There's some of you that probably think they're this dumb redneck band, and that's fine, you don't get it. But they are just the epitome. They are the ground zero of that dirty, twangy Southern rock and roll sound. And I absolutely love Leonard Skinner. This is just two separate, greatest hits CDs I've got. Skinner for me has never really been like a sit down and listen to the album band. I just I want to listen to. I just like their songs. I've got a couple of the records on LP. I have one more greatest hit CD. It's actually in my car right now. I was listening to it the other day. Not my car, because I don't have a CD player in my car. We've talked about that. But this one is called 30. It was put out for the 30th anniversary. It is a double disc. It's got everything that you fucking need on it. So it's a killer. If you want to get into Skynyrd, buy 30. It's double disc. It's everything. This is called Skynyrd's Innards, which I always thought was a really cool title. It's got the staples on it, you know, all the singles, 13 songs. So Skynyrd, I fucking love Lynyrd Skynyrd. I could talk about them for an entire fucking half-an-hour video. So I'm gonna move on. Then we have M83 Midnight City Remix EP. So M83 is this electronic band from France that I got into about 10 years ago. My buddy Nathan, we were talking one night, and I said, I want some kind of dark pop music. I want something that is electronic and dancey and poppy sounding, but dark. And he linked me to Saturdays Equals Youth by M83. Now, 10 years later, I fucking love that record. It is just really dreary and drab. It's exactly what I wanted when I described that sound to him. Midnight City was their next release, and it was a lot like more polished and professional and kind of mainstream sounding. But it was good, and I have the LP. This remix EP was some kind of special buy for like $1 or something. It was on the counter at Criminal Records in Atlanta when they had a stack of them, and I impulse purchased it when I was checking out. I said, ooh, that's the new M83 single. I've probably never sat down and listened to this. I listened to the album, but I don't know why I bought it. But they put out more stuff since then, but for me, it really begins and ends with Saturdays Equals Youth. I fucking love that album. Don't really keep up with the band other than that. So then, speaking of Adrian from Vociferian and Luger, this is Macabre. Macabre is a nasty kind of old sounding death metal band that Adrian sings in, and Mark Riddick, the artist that everybody knows, he does all these black and white pen and ink illustrations. Mark plays all the instruments on this. This is Blood Nurtured Nature. It was their first release. They have a second album out now that I have on vinyl. This is just a fold-out one-panel digipack thing with this big poster-type insert. Got his artwork there, and then all the lyrics. I've worked with Mark. He's done some artwork for me, and we've chatted a bunch. He's a good guy, and he is, an incredible artist, but also he's a die-hard metal guy, die-hard death metal head, and there's a really, really killer attention to detail with his presentation. He's a real artist. I really like it. I haven't listened to that Macabre a lot. It was a little rough around the edges, and it didn't quite click with me. I need to check out the newer one. They sent me the record, and I need to, I might even have the CD too. It might all still be in a box, like the mailer I got it in. But anyway, moving on. From Macabre to Macabre, the fucking gods. I love Macabre so much. I only own these two CDs, but I have Dahmer and the Unabomber 10-inch, the Dahmer LP and the Unabomber 10-inch. I really, 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 really need to get Murder Metal on CD and vinyl. This is one of the bands that I want everything on CD and vinyl. I got into Macabre, I don't know, 10 years ago. Seen them around forever, seen them in magazines and zines, and I always knew they were a death metal band that was different. And when I listened to them, it could have gone one way or the other. It could have been like, you know, there's kind of like thrashy death metal, you know, they're not cut from the same death metal cloth type band, but then it's like they're a band that sound like no one else, and they're fucking awesome. So, and that's the path I went. But the 2 CDs, we'll talk about those. I have Grim Scary Tales, which was their most recent full length, and it came out, it's been a while now, 2011. When this came out, before I ever listened to it, I remember my buddy Wayne, gotta talk about Wayne in every video, mentioned on Facebook how it was awful, and he hated it. And I just kind of avoided it. I never really, you know, I've got Dahmer, I've got Murder Metal, I've got Sinister Slaughter, I don't, you know. It wasn't until 2 years ago, Macabre played here in Atlanta. And me and my buddy Adam got on this big Macabre binge, anticipating it. And I mentioned I'd never gotten into Grim Scary Tales. I took one person's word that it sucked and never checked it out. And he was like, my friend, you are missing out. A couple days later, it shows up in my mailbox. He fucking went on Amazon and bought it for me and had it sent to me. And it's fucking killer. It picks right up from where Murder Metal picked up off of Dahmer. It picks up off of Murder Metal, and it is just Macabre doing what they do fucking best. So, it's killer. If you don't know Macabre, they are a thrashy death metal band with crazy wacko vocals. All of their songs are about serial killers and these really weird, like, rhymey lyrics. It's so fucking awesome. And they are goddamn incredible live. Grim Reality is an EP. I picked this up at the Macabre show. This was originally released in like 87. It's 6 songs EP they put out, you know, fucking 30 years ago. And this is just a re-release CD on their own label. But Macabre is one of those bands that I always liked, and the only thing I had was Dahmer. Dahmer was the first thing I listened to, and I had the opportunity to do all the layout and design on a Dahmer LP reissue several years ago. And I picked up I got the copies of it through that. And then working on that, this was in like 2011 or 2012, somewhere in there. Working on that, they really, really clicked with me. And I went back, I've been buying stuff as I come across it now. So, but Macabre fucking rules. I love Macabre. So then we have Machetazo with Munda Crypta. Machetazo is a Spanish grind band, horror-oriented, kind of that Razorback Records sound of the early 2000s. This record came out in 2008. I picked it up. I liked them. Machetazo is one of those bands that I like when I've listened to them, but I've never gone on my way to get all their stuff. But every so often I'll be looking, for something to listen to, and I'll see this. Oh yeah, Machetazo, and I'll grab it and throw it on for a couple days. They have an LP, and I cannot remember the fucking name of the album now, but it's got the Tombs of the Blind Dead artwork. I have that album, that record, and it fucking rules. So then we have an EP by a band called Made Ready. Made Ready are some very good friends of mine that I've known for a couple of guys, 20, 25 years. Me and their guitar player, singer, Justin, went to high school together. And the other guitar player, Chase, we've just been buddies through music since probably 2000. But Made Ready is their band. And they play, the picture of them playing there, they play kind of old 70s fucking rock and roll, real reminiscent of Thin Lizzy. Double guitar harmonies, lots of guitar solos. Justin, the singer, guitar player, he's an old punk rock guy, so he's got kind of this gruff southern punk rock drawl to his lyrics, or to his vocals. This is the only thing they've released so far. It's an EP called None Louder. It's got 6 songs on it. I think you can still get copies of this from their Bandcamp page, but it fucking rules. If you like Thin Lizzy, you like rock and roll, you like old punk guys playing rock and roll, check this out, man. I'll link it below. They've played and went on hiatus and played and went on hiatus a couple of times. They are back together now with a new drummer and a new bass player. Their bass player is Reese, the bass player in Father Befoul. So we're all one big happy family, and I can't wait to see them again, see what they got in store. They're so fucking good. So then we have Malbolgia with Requiem for the Inexorable, brutal death metal, comatose music. I probably got this in that giant trade I talk about all the time. Brutal death metal. I've listened to it once or twice. Don't remember much about it. I'll link it below. Then we have Malevolent Creation, 10 Commandments. Only Malevolent Creation CD I own. I like Malevolent Creation. I'm not a super fan. If I see a CD in front of me and it's, not expensive, I may snag it. I bought this for $10 I bought this from Razorback. Razorback's, no, I didn't. Take that back. I bought this at Hell's Headbangers table at the Cinema Wasteland convention several years ago. Just a Digipack reissue. I like this record. I love old Florida death metal. This is a little thrashier than I like. It's not quite as deathly and, morbid sounding as the style I really like, but I like Malevolent Creation. I saw them probably in 1999 or 2000, and they were sick. Got to see them with Brett Hoffman. Dave Koros playing drums. It was rad. So, to close this one out, we have 6 CDs by the fucking masters, Malignancy. I love Malignancy. Malignancy is a death metal band, a brutal death metal band from New York City. I saw them in November of the year 2000. I went to see Mortician. That's where I bought this shirt. I've had this shirt for 19 years. I saw Mortician, Malignancy, Impaled, Goat Whore, Nile, and Incantation together. There's 2 tours. They converged on Atlanta, and the booking people made it one big show. And it was sick. I was like 18 years old. I went solely for Mortician. Mortician was one of my absolute favorite death metal bands. Favorite bands, period. It was my first time getting to see them, and they're fucking incredible. Saw Incantation for the first time that night, and I didn't know any Incantation stuff, so it didn't really resonate with me. Nile was touring on Amongst the Catacombs of Nephron Ka. They were kind of the hot new, relapse death metal band, and I liked it. I've never been a real big Nile fan, but it was rad seeing them. Impaled was rad. I had The Dead Shall Dead Remain at the time. They were killer. And then I don't even remember watching Goat Whore. Maybe it wasn't Goat Whore. I don't remember. Incantation, Mortician, Nile, Impaled, Malignancy. Maybe that was it. Anyway, Malignancy was on it as well. Never heard of them. They were touring. They were with Mortician because at the time, Roger, the guitar player from Mortician, was playing drums in Malignancy. And they were just super fucking brutal, technical death metal with gurgly vocals. And I fucking loved that shit. At that show, I bought this, Motivated by Hunger EP. It was their new release at the time. It's 6 songs. Just killer, gurgly, fucking blasty, brutal death metal. I went back and bought Intrauterine Cannibalism, which was their first full length. Same thing, just fucking killer. nasty kind of Cannibal Corpse-y, old Cannibal Corpse sounding, brutal death metal. Then they did Inhuman Grotesqueries, which really amped up the technicality of their sound. Just more of the same, just fucking killer, 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 nasty, brutal death metal. Then they did Cross Species Transmutation. And Cross Species is a little more polished and tech proggy and clean sounding versus the older stuff. Probably my least listened to album of theirs. Then they did Eugenics. Eugenics was their most recent full length. It came out in, I don't know, like 16 or something, 2016 or 17. And it's super clean, almost too clean. It's a real sterile sounding record. And I like it. I listen to it a bunch. But I definitely nowadays, if I reach for Malignancy, it's going to be those first 3 releases. But then last year, either last year or the year before, they put out this little like cardboard sleeve promo CD, 3 songs, Malignant Future, and it's really kind of harkens back to that earlier sound. It's dirtier, it's nastier, it's fucking just grosser sounding. One thing about Malignancy is Ron Cackner, the guitar player, is one of the just sickest purveyors of throwing pinch harmonics all in these riffs. And that's kind of the blueprint to the Malignancy sound is there's pinch harmonics everywhere. And it's so fucking awesome. No one does it like they do. But I fucking love Malignancy. So, there we go. That's a big stack. I'm approaching half an hour again. I didn't want to make it this long. I got to go to fucking bed. So, let's talk about these. Some of my fucking, awesome releases that I love in this stack. Let's talk about what you've been listening to. What's going on. Like, comment, subscribe. I love talking to everybody about the stuff in the comments. Tell your friends. I need more subscribers. And I'll be back soon. Talk to you guys later.